Good morning, everybody, and welcome back. I'll just take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Angela Gillis. I am one of the customer account managers here at Quisitive, and I will be your moderator for today. Thank you very much for joining us now for our Business Central What's New in 2023 Wave 1 session. It is my privilege to introduce our presenters today, Stacy Kahn, Walt Shepard, and Dave Penny, some of our fabulous consultants that will be doing our session today. So Dave, over to you.
Great, thank you, Angela, and good morning, everybody. Get to something out here. All right, prior to the major releases scheduled for April and October, Microsoft will publish the release notes online. These release notes will cover all new functionalities planned to be released on this update and before the next update. Please note, each new feature will specify a public preview date and a general release date. However, these dates may be subject to change. New features will fall under one of the following categories: application, country and regional specific, development tools, governance and administration, reporting and data analysis, service and platform, and user experiences. Please go online to the URL specified at the bottom of this slide to read up on the new features. You can also download a file which contains a full list of each feature and includes a hyperlink to the release notes for that feature. Microsoft has listed over 100 new features planned for 2023. Given we only have 30 minutes, our team will cover a few of those ones that we think will be of interest to you. You may not be aware, but last year, Microsoft added a new list page called Feature Management. Use the search option to find this page. The Feature Management page will show you a list of new features currently available to you which are not part of the base package. Some new features can be enabled ahead of time on sandbox and production environments. This capability allows you to benefit as early as possible from the feature improvements and innovative new features. Select the Learn More link to see additional information on that feature. Please note, some features may permanently affect the state and capabilities of Business Central and therefore can't be reverted. Also important, once a feature is enabled, it becomes available to all users. It is strongly recommended that all new features be tested in a sandbox environment before being enabled in a production environment. There is an option for you on some of these features to temporarily test out some new features. Try out the feature for yourself without enabling it for all users by choosing the Try It Out link. This will open a new browser tab with the feature enabled for that session. When you close the session, the feature will be disabled again. In future releases, Microsoft may choose to permanently enable this feature to all users. When they do that, this feature becomes part of the base package and the feature will disappear from the feature management page. So for those of you using warehouse functionality that involves tracking on-hand stock using bins, Microsoft has finally made a change to the base document screen. Bin and zone codes will now be automatically added to warehouse documents when the bin mandatory toggle is turned on. This means there will be no need to use Personalize or Designer to add these required fields to all your forms anymore. This has been a huge complaint of clients using warehouse functions that these mandatory fields were not shown in any documents. Having those fields readily and consistently available makes it easier for warehouse workers to do their jobs and to make fewer mistakes. These fields will automatically be added to the header and/or lines sections where applicable. Following documents will be affected: warehouse receipt header, warehouse receipt lines, warehouse put away lines, warehouse shipment header, warehouse shipment lines, and warehouse put away lines. For those using simple inventory functions, not advanced warehouse functions, many of the ship, receive, and invoice functions are done from the same document screens. For example, when you open a sales order, a user has the option to post the shipment and the sales invoice. You'll get the window that pops up, says post shipment, post invoice, post ship and invoice. However, in many organizations, these functions are performed by two different people. Auditors sometimes require this separation for the purpose of segregation of duties. In these cases, this has required Quisitive to do a small customization to restrict this option by user. Microsoft is adding a new feature which includes a new setting on the user setup page, letting you specify how each user can process invoices. This will allow you to control posting of sales and purchase documents separately. Posting options can be set to ship, receive, invoice, ship, receive, and invoice, or no posting at all. This will affect sales orders, sales return orders, purchase return orders, warehouse shipments, inventory picks, and inventory putaways. For configurations where you handle physical goods in a warehouse document, such as inventory putaways, warehouse receipts, inventory picks, or warehouse shipments, you will now be able to post some types of non-inventory items. Currently, when a purchase order or sales order contains both inventory and non-inventory items, the warehouse staff can only post the inventory items as they don't even see the non-inventory items listed on their documents. Once they've completed their postings, someone else has to go into the sales order or purchase order and finish posting the non-inventory items. This has caused many clients problems as they didn't want warehouse staff to have access to the purchase order or sales order, and admin staff assigned to this non-inventory posting didn't know when they could post these. It's also resulted in extra time-consuming steps which provided non-value to the process. Microsoft has now added two new capabilities. First, you can post all non-inventory lines on the source document as soon as at least one item is posted by the warehouse document. Secondly, you can post non-inventory lines of the source document linked to the item through the attached line number field when the item is posted by a warehouse document. There's an option when you go and you create the document where you would say that this non-inventory line item is linked to this specific inventory line item. So you would do up a matching there. This feature is going to be controlled through both purchase and payable setup screens and the sales and receivable setup screen. The auto post non-inventory via warehouse field will allow the following options: none, attached, assigned, and all. Clients are going to need to test all these options to see if this new feature will work within your business processes. So it's a new feature. There's some functionality around it, but again, please test it out and see if this is going to work within your business processes and if you need to make any changes. Sometimes people post incorrect quantities or incorrect lot serial numbers on transfer orders. Currently in Business Central, once you post a shipment, your only option was to post the related receipt. You could not change lot numbers, modify quantities, or make any other changes. You also couldn't cancel the shipment and redo it. This forced clients to post an incorrect receipt and then do multiple inventory adjustments to correct the errors. This new feature will let you correct the shipment at the line level by reversing the quantity posted on that line, making the necessary corrections, and then posting the correct quantity again. Note, the original posting will remain. The system will post an additional entry for the reversal and also for the correction. However, there are certain restrictions to this option. You can't undo a post-to-transfer shipment if the item is reserved. To do that, you'll first have to cancel the reservation. You can't undo a transfer shipment if there are any receipts posted against it. So once we posted a receipt, you can't undo that shipment. This also means that if you use the direct transfer option, this won't work as the receipt is automatically posted when the shipment is posted. So this one's a little bit exciting. Microsoft is introducing a new feature called analysis mode, which will allow users to perform analytics directly from a list page. Analysis mode will open the list page data in a new experience that's optimized for data analytics. When the page is in analysis mode, it's split into two areas. The first area is the main data area, which includes a tab pane. The second area is a field modifier area. You're going to have the option to select pivot mode, which will give you all the same options as Excel, whereby you can select fields, filters, sum options, and do formatting. You will also be able to control the layout of the columns by dragging columns to where they make the most sense in your analysis. Pin a column to the left or the right. Define data filters directly on the column definition. What that one means is no longer having to open up that filter window and putting in all of the options there. You can do that right from the column header itself. It should be noted that this is a new feature that will be phased in slowly by Microsoft. The initial release may be limited to specific list pages and functionality. However, this is a very positive step by Microsoft, and we can look forward to additional functionality in future releases. At this point, I would like to hand over things to my colleague Walt Shepard to show you more features being released by Microsoft.
Thank you, Dave. Good morning. We've got some more new features available, and I'll be telling you about them. Responding to valuable user feedback, Microsoft expanded the selection of fields available during personalization to a lot more pages for the columns within the lines. This allows users to add more columns, providing greater insight across pages. It's very simple. During the personalization selection, you can drag and drop to the new line columns, and specifically they've added, here's an example on a sales order, that within the sales order lines you can post new groups, general business posting group, the general product posting group, the VAT business posting group, and the VAT product posting group fields. More examples of new columns made available in this release. On the item ledger entries page, the source number and source type fields are now available. The vendor order number field can be personalized on the purchase orders page. The your reference field is available for both sales and purchase documents. And on the bin content page, you can now personalize with pick quantity, ATO components, pick quantity, negative adjustment quantity, put away quantity, positive adjustment quantity, available quantity to take, and cross dock bin fields, quite a few. The shipment date field is also now available on the inventory picks page. Also, the expected receipt date field on the inventory putaways page is available. The assigned user ID field is now available on the inventory picks, inventory put away, and inventory movement pages. Lastly, the inventory value 0 field can be added to the item template and item card pages through personalization. These additions give users greater flexibility and control over what they can see to help them facilitate their job role. Next, the new web update allows users to add a variety of new fields from existing tables that were not previously available. This update grants users even more flexibility and customization. They can add fields to card pages, list, and most other page types as previously shown, but they also can choose from existing fields on the source table that powers each page including fields from table extensions. So here again, with personalization, you can drag and drop wherever you need to adjust your surrounding content for your optimal user experience. Also, customizations with these new fields are available within a specific role. Users can easily identify hidden fields on the page and determine which fields can be newly added from the table. And finally, users can implement these changes either just for themselves or for everyone in a specific role. So Business Central continues to enable users to create a more tailored and efficient workspace. With this release, whereas before we just had to click to browse to attach a document, now you can drag and drop. And no matter which business process requires the uploading of documents, you can do this. This feature saves time. If you have it up in your email or on your desktop, you can quickly attach a document to the card or wherever you need to attach a document. Now, here is one of the most exciting features, I believe, the searching company data. This is, in essence, the ability to open up this search through Control-Alt-F and then search for any keyword in any of the tables in Business Central. This is highly sought after, and finally, Microsoft, after getting a lot of user feedback, decided to release this with this wave. Now, however, it right now is scheduled for September of 2023. So I'd recommend just taking a note, remembering this, and when it's out, and use it. It's highly effective. It works great. Thankfully, I've had a preview. And this is in addition to the Tell Me search bar that's traditionally at the top where you look for pages or actions or reports. You could do this if you're just looking for keywords and not the pages, actions, or reports. And I'm going to show you, and so here's an example that I pulled from my screen this morning. In the example, you can see I did a keyword, in this case, John, and I located contacts, general ledger entries, customers, vendors, and vendor ledger entries that had that keyword in it, and I can go in there very quickly to see what, if I need to look at a record, say a transaction with a keyword. Making this searching company data feature even more powerful is the ability for users to define which tables it's going to search in. You could define all, but if you don't have a need to access a certain table, you don't have to. So once you open up the search, you can click on the results label in the search. I'll go back here and point it out right here. And once you do that, then you can go in and select the tables, as you can see on the right, that you want to be able to search in this experience. Again, it's Control-Alt-F. Now I'll pass you to our colleague, Stacy Kahn, to discuss more wave features. Stacy, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thanks, Walt. Hold on,
Okay.
let me just get this started. Okay, thank you, Walt. So, as we proceed with the latest wave of release, it is now possible to prevent or rectify mistakes in document number while posting an item journal. So, to achieve this, you need to navigate to the Home tab and select the option of Renumber Document Numbers. If the number series is included in the item journal batch, the document numbers for the individual or group lines need to follow a sequential order while posting the item journal. Furthermore, if the action is used on journal group lines, The lines will remain grouped, but might get assigned a new document number. So moving ahead with item journals, a new feature has been introduced that allows you to preview your posting on item journals as well as other inventory documents. This new feature, it aims to reduce errors by enabling you to review the type of entries that will be generated when you post an item journal or any other inventory document to your database. This feature has been incorporated in over 20 pages in this release, including the warehouse shipment, transfer order, assembly order, warehouse receipt, and item journal pages. The process of reviewing your general ledger accounts has been made quicker and more efficient with the addition of a new GL review action. This action can be initiated from the Chart of Accounts page by selecting a GL account and selecting Review Entries action. Alternatively, you can access the General Ledger Entries page for the account and select Review Entries. Configuring the GL account review is a simple process. You need to access the GL account card for each account and specify the review policy in the Review Policy field. When the review policy is set to none, it will not be possible to mark the entries for the account as reviewed. This option is usually employed for payables, receivables, and bank accounts where alternative methods exist for reviewing their amounts. If you set the policy as review allowed, there is no need to include all entries in the review process, and the debit and credit amounts do not necessarily have to balance. However, if you set the policy as review allowed and match balance, the total amounts of debits and credit entries in the review must match. The debit and credit fields, it displays the amounts, while the balance field shows the total. It is essential to keep in mind that in order to utilize this feature, you must be granted access to the D365 GL Review permission set. Master data synchronization made easy. Business Central has simplified the process of transferring setup from one company to another within the same environment, as well as synchronizing master data between companies. Previously, to copy master data from one company to another, a custom or configuration package was necessary, and subsequent changes or updates made to the master data in the original company would not be reflected in the second company. Now, any modifications made to the master data in the initial company can be synchronized with other companies. So, by enabling the Enable Data Synchronization toggle in the destination company and selecting the relevant source company, you can choose which table to synchronize. Preview exchange rate adjustments before posting. It is now possible to preview the impact of exchange rate adjustments on your posting before you post them by selecting the preview action on the Adjust Exchange Rates Report Request page. You can view the adjustment before executing it. You may also specify whether you want a detailed posting to the general ledger by entry or a summarized posting by currency by selecting the Summarize Entries field on the Adjust Exchange Rates report. The adjustment also accommodates for dimensions for unrealized gains and losses by selecting one of the options available in the Transfer Dimension Values field. By choosing the Source Entry option, the GL entries for the unrealized gains and losses will have the dimension values transferred from the entry being adjusted. If you select the GL account option, the GL entries for the unrealized gains and losses will have the dimension values transferred from the dimension settings of the unrealized gain and losses GL account. And if you opt for no transfer, this will result in the GL entries for the unrealized gains and losses having no dimension values transferred to them. You now have the flexibility to post payable and receivable transactions to a different general ledger account rather than the one that is specified on the customer or vendor posting group. This is particularly useful for scenarios like bad debts. So to make this possible, you can enable the option Allow Alteration of Posting Group on relevant pages, such as Sales and Receivables Setup and Service Management Setup, that is for the customer posting group changes, and Purchases and Payable Setup for vendor posting group changes. Additionally, you can configure the posting groups that can be used for substitutes by selecting substitutions on the customer posting groups or vendor posting group pages. These substitute posting groups can be used to replace the default customer or vendor posting group for a particular customer or vendor. Once this is configured, you can select from the permitted substitute posting groups and change the customer or vendor posting groups while posting your sales or purchase documents and journals. So that was a brief overview of some of the features or new features introduced by Microsoft in the 2023 Wave 1 release. At this point, I will leave the forum open for any questions. So back to you, Angela.
Thank you very much, Stacy, Dave, and Walt, for that overview of some of the new features that are coming in Wave 1. We do have a couple of questions. We are at time now, so we will make sure that we follow up with the individuals via email after the event today on any questions that came in. Again, if you do have questions, please enter them into the chat panel, or feel free at any time to email us at ask@quisitive.com, and we are certainly happy to assist you. So thank you so much, and we will see you at the next session. Bye.